Baby, listen, I'm on their ass. Yeah, I'm on their ass. They ain't gonna get, they ain't gonna get by with nothing.
I'm not this nigga. But it's certain things that's gonna happen here in the near future. Okay? She is a part of the conspiracy. The other lady is a part of the conspiracy. The lawyer is a part of the conspiracy. And then she said somebody's harassing a lawyer. I'm not harassing lawyers. I'm not calling lawyers. I wouldn't dare contact that lawyer. Matter of fact, after next week, he'll probably call me. Okay? So, what I'm saying is that lawyer is before the disciplinary board of 31 infractions from stealing money to lying to judges, paying people off, all kind of sorts of shit. No R. Kelly channel. You care about R. Kelly so much that no channel is reporting on that shit. Nobody has went live to read that shit and break it down. Okay? And the lawyer is in concert with people that tried to have me killed, thrown in jail. It's on audio, video, everything. That is so fucking illegal for an officer of the court to file things that is a lie. Don't bet the people he's taking the information from. Correspond with them about sending shit to the White House and about sending in a public. Because I'm gonna do anything is just because when you are in federal custody, you have a lawyer. Your lawyer is supposed to the pardon office, the pardon attorney's office. They what you're saying is true or not. Okay, and the lawyer has done that in a year. That either Rasputia or Snack, a flower pot, they done submitted this shit. Maybe under a bogus name or whatever. But he doesn't get a due. If you submitted anything to that White House, if you submitted anything in a pardon that relate that it is against the law for a way. It's more people get locked up. It's more people that get locked up for presenting, for asking for a pardon that actually gets granted a pardon. They take that shit very serious. So if y'all motherfuckers went and lied to the pardons office, now I was gonna chill out this weekend, but now I had to do a bunch of things. I had to get it. I had to fucking get up. I had Levi calling me. Now I gotta go and send this shit to the ARDC. I gotta go through the process of filing a complaint with the pardon office to make sure that if anything is in that pardon about bringing someone for jail that got something to do with me, and it's a lie, I want you prosecuted. I want you thrown in fucking jail. The more people I can get thrown in jail, the more shit I can sue for, taking houses and all that kind of shit, right? So that's what my angle is with this shit. That lady is dumb. They don't read. The reason why the lawyer didn't file this shit in the last motion is because they put that 31 count review out on him, and he certainly couldn't walk up in the courtroom and continue to lie to a sitting federal judge that someone is trying to kill R. Kelly, that I'm going to California, that he has an affidavit, and the prison in the area nation is trying to kill him. He couldn't present that in the motion, and that's why he didn't file it. Okay, we've been knowing about this for a month. I've just been trying to wait and see shit shake out. Because I'm absolutely not letting anybody else file anything on this. Let's get done.
Okay, so listen. I be trying, because I know that. I be trying. Because I be like, if I hear anything, you understand? That's why I don't listen. I be trying. I was raised right. I still am surrounded with loving people. You know what I'm saying? So listen, okay? Just listen. Back in the day, let's see. prior to 2018, I swear for God, all y'all would have gotten it from somebody or from me if you're close enough, one way or the other. Okay, they still actively practice. Okay, found out on that type of time, and because I've never been the one to have to argue for 4 or 5 days, let alone 4 or 5 motherfucking years. No, baby, that's not going down ever. We fix to fight. We fixing to fight. Ain't nobody got time to be back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You crazy. Ain't nobody got that. You know what I'm saying? I can do it. I understand that now. I can do it, but that's just not how I really live. Back and forth, back and forth, back. Listen, any one of them goddamn husbands can tell you, listen here, if we arguing like it's over an hour, chances are I don't motherfucker throw a blow at his ass. Like I ain't got time for that. I don't. I don't. Uh-uh. Oh, you really ain't got to ask for them husbands. Ask for them ex or ex whatever they was. Ex somebody. I'm not going to sit up here. Like that's what I'm trying. That's my whole purpose of evicting you motherfuckers from this goddamn area. People don't have time for all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Even when my reads and drags was warranted, right? That shit lasts at the most, outside of sports and politics, because I play a different role in that, but shit like this, huh? The most, maybe 3 days. This is fucking crazy. I don't know who the hell is he trying to put imply that I'm in some kind of shit, uh, sending some motherfucking letters and whatever. Cause who the hell is? I know he got me no motherfucking Rasputin. Look here, this body is real. The whole motherfucking entire thing. The entire thing. So it's a lot of conversations. I don't understand this. Like just like I'm trying to tell one pal, you cannot be in the argument or conversation when it comes to education, when it comes to fashion, when it comes to pageantry, when it comes to uh being sane, when it comes to being talented, when it comes to looking good. You know, you can be ugly and still look good. Um, and the list goes on, right? Money, whatever. The list goes motherfucking on. With the motherfucking line ass Larry. You cannot be in no motherfucking conversation and talking about how another woman looks. You know where that can go? And see, this the same shit. That's how motherfucking sometimes T.I. gets Tiny in trouble. Okay? If you know what I know, then you know. That's how T.I. gets motherfucking Tiny in trouble. Stay away from conversations. You can't You can't. You really shouldn't be asking nobody about cutting no camera on to see no motherfucking rented villa or something. I don't know what the fuck is going on. What the fuck you want? I mean, now if you can go in the renters section, or if you say all renters, cut the goddamn camera on, let me see what you're renting. Okay, that's different. You can be in the conversations with, you having, your kids not having electricity, gas, and motherfucking whatever you said in that motherfucking email. You can be in that conversation. This wasn't about. Oh, it wasn't about me. Who the fuck you talking about? Because I'm gonna correct you anyway. And I'm minding my motherfucking business. You need to mind yours. Oh, who you? Oh, okay. Well, I've still got to get you. The only thing you said to the little part that I motherfucking heard, the only thing you said was correct. Was you cannot put fictitious, felonious information in a party. Okay. See, I don't play the game like that. I don't have to lie on nobody. I don't have to say being lying. I don't know what they're talking about. He fake and whatever. I'm gonna tell you just what it is. Cause the next thing you might want to motherfucking. Oh, the next thing you might motherfucking want to do. You know what I'm saying is verify shit before you motherfucking say it. So that is the one thing that is true that he said. So, and another thing, and see, here's the thing when it comes to parties, right? Because I think somebody tried to hit me on this too. Although in a party, there's not a line that says, I have accepted my role in my criminal, in regarding this criminal liability, right? This, you know what I'm saying? I am remorseful. I have written my accusers apology letters. I have done this, I have done that. No, it does not state that. Okay? Remember, I tell you, there are some things that are enumerated and unenumerated when it comes to law, right? So although it's not plainly written, that is a big part of getting a pardon. Okay? It's not required or any of that, right? So check this out. But here's the thing, okay? He cannot really do a pardon. It's going to be, hold on, it's going to be, it's going to contradict, okay? Because here's the thing, right? And Greenberg talked about it after I talked about it. So, go find his ass, ask him. All right. When you still got post conviction relief going on, right? Going on through the court, that, your trial court, the appellate court, the Supreme Court, whatever, he still has some old shit to try, right? If you are filing for an appeal, a review, or Supreme Court, or what have you, even though it habeas corpus, doesn't matter if it's 2244, 2245. 2254, 2255. It doesn't matter, okay? And with the habeas, you pretty much you're taking a shot at constitutional violations, right? Pretty much. It doesn't mean that you can argue insufficient evidence, which is not a constitutional violation, but they really try to make it specific and really try to hammer home with constitutional violations, because when you do habeas writs of that nature, guess what? You're asking the government to verify if your detention is what? Lawful. Okay? And again, just like in the Supreme Court, it's the same thing in the appellate court. There are law students or freshly graduates who are making the decision of whether or not to pass along your brief. Okay? First thing they gonna go to, because guess what? They still in text, right? They still got text on their brain. They are going to go and find out um, the latest amendment to the law that deals with your situation. They're going to find that. They're going to read that. You know, if it's something that was written statutorily, but it's broad, then maybe they can pass it on for an interpretation. You see Bonjean, and you see Bonjean really. She doesn't. I don't think she directly asked for the court's interpretation. I think she did one time, but a lot of how she does her post conviction relief is that she does it really the proper way, right? Is to say that this is a procedural error, this is a structural error. I need for the court to interpret what is written statutorily, because the founders of this law did not mean for it to be applied retrospectively, retroactively, whichever one, okay, either before or after, and and it doesn't violate shit. I'll get that later. But I don't know why I'm going into all of that, because I'm gonna forget the real reason I wanted to correct. Okay, but that one thing he said, you can't put all, can't put no shit you can't back up. You can't put in anything that is something you can't prove, because it's a good chance that they get your pardon, right? And just say they are trying to evaluate it to see, it's something they can push forward, right? Well, just say if it goes to the lady that Kim Kardashian got out of jail, if it goes to the attorney that works with her, and if she reviews it, that attorney most likely is going to try to verify what you are saying in that part, because you are accusing another institution of some shit, as well as you accusing the prosecutors for misconduct. You're accusing I don't know what was that. What was the basis of that motion he had, Larry, and what was it? Because it couldn't have been witness tampering. Did he say that? I don't think that he could form a legal argument around witness tampering, so I wouldn't imagine that was in there. What was it? Listen, that's how far I am away from that shit. Let me see if I can figure it out. Let me see if I can look. What was the situation? Okay, because we know we got the man, the Aryan Nation man. We got that situation. We got the Larry situation, and we got the Mondi situation. Oh, maybe remember the live I just did. Or remember I told you it's a strategy where you get like you come up with like three or more objections to raise or issues or however you want to look at it. Okay, because I'm not really trying to talk in layman speaking the goddamn more. But listen, that's three right there, right? And maybe he is going to, you know, pencil whoop it some more and do what I said on the last slide. That is a strategy. Now I raise my hand. That is a strategy. Because he had pretty much he filed loan issues, right? It was like one with the Aryan Nation man, one with Larry, and one with Mondi. Am I right? Am I right? And the combination of all three of those, he's gonna label it some kind of error. Okay? And depending on what kind of error he labels it, that's going to also determine how much deference is given, right? I told you many times if it's judicial discretion, if it's prosecutorial misconduct, they give them a lot of discretion. I mean, a lot of deference. If it is, if she asks for it to be reviewed de novo, then it's given little to no deference. Okay? But right now, in my opinion, he is swinging hard at constitutional violations. You got your alleged three. One, you're trying to say prosecutorial misconduct. One or two, I'm trying to say, yeah, with the Larry thing, that's constitutional misconduct. I believe with the Mondi thing, you said prosecutor, so that's prosecutorial misconduct. And what was the Aryan Nation man? Was that judicial discretion? Was that already? Did the judge rule on the Aryan Nation man? Because if the judge denied that, then that would fall under judicial discretion. So all of that is given high amount of deference. Meaning, I hate that. I hate y'all don't want to goddamn explain shit. I thought I did a real good job, motherfucking sending y'all around the motherfucking mountains and shit last time. But anyway, because I went over this several times. So check this out. If they do that, right? But as you saw with the appeals and the request for review and all that, when you saw J-Bo do it, she tried to steer the justices in in a direction that's most favorable to her, right? I think she wanted something, objection she raised. I think she wanted that reviewed as de novo. Okay, so but if it's and the prosecutors, I think, came back and challenged it and said no, it should be reviewed. It's if you consider it like a procedural error or structure error, whatever, then you need to look at it a certain way. Because if you and when I say given a high amount of deference. That means that the the justices will give the judge and the prosecutors the benefit of the doubt. Okay, the Supreme Court has already made a determination of what is what they consider a good job by a judge, prosecutor, and the lawyer. Okay? Some people think that you are supposed to just, be magnificent, don't get anything wrong, be whatever. And actually, that's not the case. You can just be average. You can mess up. You can totally fuck up several cases and still be considered meeting the standards. Okay? All right, so let me correct this stalker. And thank you, stalker. Thank you for keeping, my one view in rotation. Thank you. So, um, when it comes to pardon, actually, the actual defendant can file directly with the help of someone. You can't file a pardon on behalf of someone. You can help them submit it. Now you can submit it directly to Trump or send it through the channels. Okay? Send it through the channels. Also, content theft. I just said in the most convoluted way that I could try to disguise it, that if the lawyer, right, Bo, cannot prove all this stuff he's saying, and a good indication of that is usually when they abandon the motion. And then here you go, motherfucking stalker ass Larry. He done motherfucking reworded. Well, say he couldn't prove it. That's why the man ain't gone. Well, why you ain't been saying that if you knew it? I done told y'all. It's three motherfuckers that cannot use anything I goddamn say. And don't try to change it. Don't try to shake it up or whatever. Because you ain't said it all this motherfucking time. And soon as I motherfucking say it, here it comes. But I'm supposed to be the fake attorney. What the fuck is that about? If it ain't motherfucking goddamn wet mouth ass goddamn, what that man name is? With the dogs, the locker dog. Rated R, he keep asking motherfucking questions, all these about the syndicate and all these and the connections and the conspiracy. And I was just like sitting there looking at him. Don't you have a motherfucking lady number that's in the paperwork? Don't you know her? Ask her. So I don't like the way y'all beef and play games and shit. I don't like all of that because it's just some stupid ass shit. The Bowles ain't, somebody's Janet, I'm Marjorie Spencer, and all this old crazy ass shit. I don't like that. Leave me out of that shit. Just forget it. I got my lick back, and I'm tired of you motherfuckers. I don't want to play no more. I don't have time to be motherfucking defending and answering the same motherfucking shit. I done sent these motherfuckers, these goddamn diplomas and transcripts 100 motherfucking times. I'm not sending no motherfucking more. Send me yours. I got a stupid bitch over there thinking just because I get done took them out the goddamn box, and those the ones was at the goddamn office. They still in the damn box. I just took it, so put on a little video. Here you go. What's next? Just weird. I mean, do you see the name of the motherfucker? Like that, damn. Y'all weird. Y'all tell too many motherfucking lies. Ain't nobody got time to be up here. Like, when the fuck I told you I couldn't cook? Child, I don't know. Maybe I was born with dementia. Y'all need to get that shit checked out. But anyway, yeah. That's the one thing. I don't know what else he said on that motherfucker legally. It may or may not be right. I don't know. But I'm not clicking to find out. I ain't know if the motherfucker was talking about me or not. Cause I was finna, shit. I go, I gets down. Okay? Y'all just need to let me be motherfucking graceful and let me pity you motherfuckers. And because I know, baby, what? I ain't read you yet. I ain't cussed your ass out yet. I'll tell you, and you'll know the difference between how I've cussed and me cussing your ass out for real. There's a big difference, and trust me, I ain't cussed your ass out yet. Anybody, okay? Stop stealing my motherfucking content if I don't fuck with you. Gonna tell me what I'm not, but then you gonna motherfucking go and repeat what the fuck I said, and a motherfucking using, huh? So no, and again, it wasn't a requirement that uh, uh, did the judge say that on that motion, I guess, which whatever one of them, that it should have been filed in that jurisdiction? Because y'all be making up the law. And if the judge didn't determine that, then then that's not the truth. That it should have been filed in uh in in another district, right? Hold on, wait a minute, wait. Hold on, let me see if it's coming to me. Was it a situation where it should have been a complaint to the BOP? Damn, I'm sick. Y'all, listen. Y'all want me out. Y'all know by now I done went and start putting them out. I don't even goddamn really care that much. But if you know, depending on what the complaint is, because if it's a complaint like somebody's trying to kill me at the BOP or whatever, well, one that's a complaint that should go to the BOP, you know. But I don't know what kind of spell angle Bo put on it to make him file it in federal court. In Illinois, I believe. They sent that one to Illinois. So I don't know what he attached to it to make it um to make it to make it hold on y'all, wait a minute. Okay. To make it to make Illinois the actual jurisdiction and venue that it should be filed in. You understand what I'm saying? So it's so I when I tell you, it's hard when you don't have the records, when you don't have the case in front of you. And we do a pretty good job, you know, guessing, because it be coming back right. Yeah. But anyway, but because and you know what? And remember I used to tell y'all, right? I'm trying to get a feel for the judge. I'm trying to get a feel for counsel. And there's a reason for that, right? Again, that's what we would do. One, if I was a litigator, so that's what we would do. But by me being here and don't have any access to the case files, discovery, all this extra shit, whatever, I really have to get a feel of the judge and counsel. So I, and it's in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I believe that Bo, um, I don't be disrespectful. I believe Bo is very ambitious when he files his motions. I think he's very ambitious, right? Oh, and another thing, um, why I don't know why this man think R. Kelly is still in the goddamn hole. One, and R. Kelly doesn't have any inclination of what is being filed. What are you talking about? Because if the judge set a date for either oral argument or evidentiary hearing, he or she is going to make sure that R. Kelly knows what the hell is going on with regards to his case. So I'm pretty sure R. Kelly knows what the people are doing because guess what? A lot of this information in the motherfucking goddamn motion came from R. Kelly. Unless somebody uh, called his lawyer and he didn't know, R. Kelly didn't know or whatever. And then, but when his lawyer got with R. Kelly, he was, brought up to speed on what had happened. So either way, understand this. Understand this. The defendant, he is the captain of the ship. He tells them what they should do, what what he wants them to do. And sometimes that it is you probably because he's a layperson, what he's saying, you probably don't have a legal argument around it, right? So what you have to do, that's when you start you got to be, creative. Remember, the brief is supposed to be what? Persuasive. You don't supposed to lie in there. You don't supposed to lie on your paperwork. That's fine. Okay? You don't supposed to lie. Because guess what? Guess what? You know your ass will get in trouble. So that's why you just abandon the motion. Just don't even fuck with it. Because you know, um, You understand what I'm saying? You don't even. That's all right, Judge. That's all right. You just let the judge. You know what I'm saying? But you just walk away from the motion. So it's a lot. It's a lot going on. Now, I don't know. So there, you're going back and forth with you help him get out. You his only friend. Now you understand it. All that kind of shit. Yes, this is what you could have done to help the members of the KL sector that you wanted to buy into your motherfucking. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did this to y'all. You could have just shut your motherfucking mouth and let Bo file the goddamn motion in peace. If you know your ass went in California or whatever the fuck they said, whatever part they said you played, just let it goddamn play out. If they call you to the motherfucking stand or whatever, you, I guess, you're gonna tell the truth. And so that's gonna end that motherfucking nightmare, right? And it's not a nightmare for you, because you ain't nobody fucking with you because your name that came up in the motherfucking paperwork. You ain't losing no sleep. No, I mean, so who you gonna sue? Who you gonna sue? Why? It's several things you need to have when you suing somebody. Okay? Which that's why I think it's absolutely absurd that and y'all would think I wrote the motherfucking shit from some goddamn depot. No, I read the motherfuckers. That's all I did. And no, I didn't break it down. Now you can accuse me of that. I ain't break it all the way down. But I also didn't tell him what was missing, what to do, this is what you need, or whatever. Because at the time, see, I'm not no backdoor motherfucker or whatever. At the time, I was cool with some of the motherfuckers on the goddamn paperwork. And I did ask him, can you take Diva off? Can you take Diva off? I did ask him that. Why the fuck would I ask him that if I'm the one that wrote the motherfucker? I just take off. And again, that is a pro se paperwork. How do you know that? Because it looks like a application of some sort. It's kind of leading you into what you need to motherfucking goddamn put. They ask some questions or whatever, and you put it, you fill in the answer or what have you. Mine might look like that. Weirdo. Crazy. I wouldn't think I don't do no shit like that. Grin up in somebody's motherfucking face and well, let me help you stab them in the back. Shit, that's y'all shit. Okay? That's what y'all do. Play the motherfucking game. Why you in here? What other motherfucking incorrect legal advice did your motherfucking ass get? That's what God, right? Ooh, I don't be all the time in a good mood, like for foolishness. I'm always have fun or what have you, but you know, when I know, I'm doing something, I gotta concentrate on something or doing something I don't want to motherfucking do, but I gotta do it anyway, because that's what the people pay for. I don't even need no bullshit from no side attraction, okay? I'm not one of the motherfucking performers in this goddamn circus. We done got trapped in this motherfucker. We can't find the exit, the get out, or none of that. Shit. But yeah, I don't want to motherfucking deal with no more goddamn R. Kelly goddamn shit. But yeah, I mean, all these motherfuckers will steal your shit and then talk about you. No, we ain't doing that no motherfucking more. Uh-uh. Did you say any other thing about this goddamn law that's incorrect? So now, this is another thing. Is there a pardon? Did somebody submit a pardon? Because, in my opinion, I believe that they are going to try to exhaust all post conviction relief applications before they try to do a pardon. Because I told you. Now, you can't say on a pardon that, oh, I take responsibility for my actions, all this bullshit, oh, I ain't been in trouble since I've been in the BOP and whatever. That's another thing too. Have you been in trouble while you been in the BOP or whatever? That's another, that's another thing too. You can't say that, and on the other side, you got your post conviction relief applications going out to the trial court, to, in the form of a habeas corpus, or to Supreme Court, or back to the appeal. Because you can't be on that side saying they did me wrong, they did this here, they did this here, they did this here. You're saying that, listen, I may or may not have done the crime, right? But I don't think my detention is lawful. Based on what? Based on constitutional violations? If they, if Bo want to get real strategic with it, he can come up with like two or three um, um, violations that has nothing to do with the Constitution. And again, that is a strategy. All right, so you can't say the judge did this, the prosecutor did this, this happened to me, and this is why my detention isn't lawful. And then on the pardon, you saying I accept my responsibility, and I'm sorry for what I've done, and I've been a model citizen in the BOP, and I've taken certain classes to what I'm talking about. You're appealing to different um two different reasons, and it's going to be what, a big contradiction. Now, if you want to go for the pardon now and see if he can get it, then he must be gonna pause what he got going through the law, the courts. but it's still gonna be look kind of crazy because they can see what you've already filed. Just because you decide, you're gonna take a stab at a clemency at a pardon by the president. I mean, they still can go look and see. Because listen, your records, it's on the record. It's going along with that motherfucking party. So they know what your objections have are is. They know what you've asked the court to interpret, right? And when we interpret statutory law, what we get? We get common law. And when we get common law, what's in there? Precedents and motherfucking authorities. And precedents is what they use to do what? Precedents is what they use to do what? They use to make. They use by other districts, other jurisdictions, or whatever you want to call them. They use that precedence is used so that other with the similar situation will have some type of law to do what? To follow. And what do we call that when it comes from out of common law? Then that's where you have your case law. Okay? So, I might even say none of this. I said it 1,000 times. So, right now, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, is Jibble Bonjean still there? When I tell you, I am off the reservation. I mean, I know I can find out, but I'm off the reservation, honey. I don't know what the hell is going on. But from what I understand, Bo is pretty good with that pencil whip. And, that's what they call it. When we playing spades and shit, the motherfuckers done got there, said they made their books and they didn't. So they pretty good with that pencil whip. But it is correct. Smart Dummy was right because you cannot put the lies in there when you submit a pardon. That's one of those applications that you ain't got to worry about it being persuasive, right? Because when you're putting in your emotions and shit like that, you're putting it into the judge and you're trying to persuade them and you're trying to say that maybe you need to have an oral argument to dispute the law or ask for clarifications of the law or have the other party comes in and y'all get in an argument as to why the law is allowing this, and then you can say, well, no, it doesn't include that. Then you can say, hey, judge, can you make that interpretation? And then guess what? What happens? I just said it makes that motherfucker interpretation right, because now we've gone, we've made it a little more clear. We made the statutory language a little more clearer. So now it's common law. What's in common law? Case law. What's in case law? Precedents and then the authority. So all of that doesn't need, so you don't have to persuade the judge or that lady, not Judge Lord, Trump, if you send it directly to Trump or send it to that lady, go through the channel and send it to that lady, you don't have to, you know, have a persuasive argument, a brief, whatever, as it pertains to the law. Okay? Because as you know, you can ask for a pardon and be 100% guilty. So that's why you don't have to worry about, um, arguing if it's a procedure error, if it's a structural error, if it's a harmless error, how much deference to apply, what's the standard of proof, um, all of that. You ain't got to worry about none of that. Now, if you want to put on there that um, hmm, that the law that there were a lot of trial errors in the law. Oh no, I don't know how to spin that. Yeah, because when you an appellate, that's why. Listen, a lot of litigators go tell your ass, go get your appellate motherfucking lawyer so they can do that. Baby, I'm a transactional lawyer. I'm going to court. Okay, I ain't got to go there. Um, I don't know how he would spin that. In my opinion, I also believe that Bo is trying to kick up some awareness with regards to R. Kelly. And one of the best ways to raise awareness and to get some um, um, active, get some activists and shit to fight your cause in the street or wherever you need to be, is to say that the judge did this wrong and the prosecutors did this and my life is in jeopardy and I'm sick and all of that, right? Which falls upon the what? Compassion. You're pretty much asking for compassion. So I don't know how I believe he's trying to raise awareness that R. Kelly is being illegally detained and our American justice system had a lot to do with it. But when you um, say that, what you're really saying, what you're really saying during your post conviction relief efforts is that I'm not guilty because all of these errors occurred. Okay, I'm not guilty. Well, hold on. No, I should be. I should be released or given a new trial because all of the errors occurred. So that's why when it gets to an appeal on appeal levels, that's why it's called review. So all those errors happen, because you're reviewing what happened. It's pretty much when you appeal on up, you are reviewing, the justices are reviewing what happened. Okay. And if they found that this happened, that happened, this happened, the next question is, well, would it have made a difference in the outcome of your case? Now I told you is my thing is, if it was a situation I had and I needed a strategy, I told you I'm gonna go with the language. We lost the um lost the opportunity to find out whether or not it would have made a difference. You know, and that's why I like J. Bolton so much because how she writes and when it comes to um, her persuasiveness, you can really see the teachings of Aristotle all through that. She's really following the guidelines. Okay, so if when I say, well, we've lost our opportunity to find out would it make a difference or not, this is what I'm saying to you, trier of fact. This is what I'm saying to you. You can't make a decision now based on my argument and the argument of the prosecutor. You can't make a decision, an informed decision on what I just said because that opportunity has been lost. The only way that we would know if this man should be found guilty or not guilty is to have a new trial. So when I'm saying with Bonjean, when she gets in her bag and she be on her Aristotle shit, she is demanding for the judge to take action. Okay? So what I mean by that, yes, the whole, you had that act come out or get amended to include the lifetime of a young person, however it reads, right? Okay. And when it was amended, it did not violate ex post facto, so because the law was still in force. You'll see Margine also acknowledging that what she's raising, uh, what happened with regards to R. Kelly being sentenced under, being able to be prosecuted because the law was changed. She is recognizing that it does not violate ex post facto. But what she's trying to say is that the forefathers did not, um, or after she says they did not intend for it to be uh, retrospective, apply retrospectively, or did she say, I think that's what she said. I'm pretty sure that's what she said. And so she wants them to read however it's statutorily written and make a determination, right? So she wants them to interpret it And if maybe come up with a common law or something like that that's in her favor. She really um, she really knows how to put everything in the judge's lap. Okay, because and with R. Kelly, it's real hard. It is real hard with his situation, right? Let me tell you how. Puffy, right? When I told you Puffy was convicted, I'm sorry, wasn't convicted with that RICO, but Puffy was indicted with a conspiratorial RICO, which is easier for the prosecution to prove their elements and establish their facts, just like the Keeper D situation when they threw in conspiracy. They made a charging argument, a charging document, I'm sorry, or indictment, because I told you I don't know which one, what it is in Nevada. They made it really broad, right? But it was very specific. Like, okay, in other words, if he shot him, okay, my point right here applies. If he didn't shoot him and he gave somebody the pistol, okay, my point right here applies. If he was just in the motherfucking car and he knew what was going to go down, my point right here applies. So whatever TPD, whatever, how they wrote it is, however TPD is involved, we got it covered. Okay? And a lot of y'all, when it comes to R. Kelly and all this stuff and all this argument with the doctor and all this extra shit, you guys have a argument with regards to the story. From the time they met to the time, they parted ways. The law, the court of law, and it's not all about that. It's about, can the prosecutor establish the facts that they lay out? And the indictment or charging instrument, or can they prove the elements that you goddamn charged him with? And with TPD, right, like pretty much anything. Did you, hell, I don't know, did you go to the concession stand when you was in Nevada, whatever? They got, they made it's broad, but it's specific to his actions. So whatever your action was, nigga, that's what and then that guy I found, it came in my feed, and I said he did real good with breaking that those charges down. And and I like the fact he understood what was going on, what the court um, is addressing and things of that nature. I was like, okay. Because if you keep arguing back and forth with us, one thing we'll tell you in our response to you is only thing we had to prove is are these elements and the facts that we established in this case. That's the only thing we had to prove. When you start talking about the Dolphin Hotel and what this person did, whatever, that that's none of that's on the indictment, whatever. We got to prove none of that. So a lot of times you'll see a prosecutor, getting sick of your ass with all these damn motions, and they just tell you right then, all that post conviction shit, keep putting shit on that goddamn desk, and next thing you know, you getting real, a real basic response. Is like, well, this is the only thing we had to prove. This is the only thing we had to prove. Okay, all that other shit, it was up to you to prove she was lying and all this bullshit when she was on the stand. Okay, so so that's the situation. But again, see with his situation, so he was convicted. R. Kelly was convicted of a substantive RICO, different from a conspiratorial RICO. And again, I told you words like substantive, proper, and other legalese. Those words have some of them have dual or multiple meanings that does not relate to the to each other. I told you, proper could be what what Keefer D said he got from the prosecution, you know, a form of limited immunity. Proper also refers to just saying the evidence, um, you're trying to get evidence submitted, and the judge is saying um, it's inadmissible, and the prosecutors of course, is saying that whatever the defendant is trying to get in, it shouldn't be allowed. Well, that will allow you to proffer that evidence, meaning you finna argue what the evidence would have shown. Bitch, if you let it in, this, that, and the third. By doing that, now you have saved that piece of evidence on the record. And now you can argue that evidence with the appellate court because you preserved it on the record the correct way. Okay, so depending on what it is or whatever, there's different ways you have to preserve preserve whatever the discovery or the evidence on the record to go to the next level. Okay, so that's why I said, yeah, I told you that, and it's not on the record, when it gets to the appellate court, you can't raise that issue. I mean, you can't argue it, and they're not accepting new evidence, right? Because when you get to appellate level, that's when the reviews start. So they're not doing a new trial. That's when the reviews start. Even when they look at the case de novo, they're still looking at the record, and and they come to a determination of how they would have decided. Okay, that's what I mean with deference, right? So they don't have to depend on or give the judge's decision or the prosecutor's movement much um, much weight or any weight at all. So that's why you'll see defense attorneys trying to get shit to be viewed de novo, but then you'll see a prosecutor come back with the standards and shit and say no, it should be uh, reviewed as judicial discretion. So that they may give the whatever on the record, that's in favor of them, so they can, agree with the judge or whatever move that was made, right? So it is. It's. I mean, okay. I mean, you got to do something. I understand that in R. Kelly's case, but he had a substitute. RICO meaning that you had to be involved. With Puffy just had to know something was going on, or you know, two or more people had something going on, but he just had to know about it. You know, with our Kelly situation, he pretty much had to participate in it. So it's a war between roles. But yeah, like that dude was saying, well, he did a good job. Like that dude was saying, when it comes to like drug organizations and different crimes and especially over there on the business side, they will throw in conspiracy. Have you indicted on some type of conspiracy so goddamn quick? What you gonna do? So with QBD, I thought I heard somebody say on one of the channels that he's now saying that he wasn't even in Nevada. Remember I said that yesterday. Now if he can prove that his ass wasn't even in Las Vegas, then you know I just don't know. I mean, he just don't strike me as the person that's gonna be in the car and get a man the gun and all that shit. Maybe it's some earlier footage of his behavior somewhere. He just don't. He just don't seem like he would be. He really seem like a dude that you can hang out with. Not you hanging out with the motherfucker, and all of a sudden you want to turn our car into the goddamn car involved in the murder. You know what I'm saying? You ride, hey, you riding along. Next thing you hear motherfuckers, they go Tupac. Motherfuckers start pulling out a gun. I'm like, hey, what you doing? And baby, I'll park that motherfucker in the street and get out. And like, I'm no part of this. You understand what I'm saying? He just don't look like one of them, one of them. I don't look like, that's him. I don't know. He don't come at him and, said all of this shit and whatever. And now he want to goddamn backtrack. Now he said he wasn't there. Okay, well, he supplied information that matches some of the information other people gave, right? So did somebody give him that information and he just ran with it or not? I believe he was there. I believe he was there. I just don't believe he the one gave the man the gun or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? I believe he was there based on what I heard him say and what the few people that spoke on the record has said with regards to what happened. Okay, because that's when you have to listen to, okay, is he giving you that in first person? So that's when you say I have to pay attention to, all the chat. Y'all know, honey. They call me Joe College. My friends here call me Joe College. Been called so goddamn long. Okay, so that's another. That's that forensic psychologist side. Okay. Yeah, so you have to listen to how a person is giving you the story, and then you can tell whether or not it's from a position of first person, right? So I don't know. He just don't strike me as the type, and especially when he had his little motherfucking suit on. That little picture where he got a little suit on his little hat. Look like he be, he'll hold a gun, nephew. Let's kill his ass. Like what? Like what? And also, it depends on when he gave his information as well. Because do we know what what the other witnesses were saying? Before we can say, yeah, he just copied what they said, and his ass was somewhere in Nevada, somewhere in in Los Angeles somewhere. So it's a lot. It's a lot, honey. That right there is going to be a doozy. And check this out right here. And this is just what I'm thinking. This is what I got them do. Shit. So if we got Keith G on the indictment, right? If we got Keith G on the indictment, I would try to, you know, I'll come up with that strategy to press him, put him in a situation where he's going to have to explain his movements. Now, I'm assuming that the prosecutors has his movement. Listen, if it's just going to be solely based on statements, now, and in this case, if it's coming from him, then that's going to be direct evidence, right? Most cases are made up of circumstantial evidence. And I know this case is going to have some circumstantial evidence too. But in this situation, his whatever he done said all over this motherfucker, it's going to be direct evidence. And he gets into with his statements, because apparently they let that in. They let a lot of shit in. I heard he hold on, let me see what is this? Make sure. So, and check this out. Check this out too. Those statements, those statements, depending on who it comes from and when it was issued, it's considered hearsay, right? And for hearsay to be admissible, it has to be accompanied with what? An exception. Well, how about this for bad luck? Keep it D done made the motherfucking statements, and although they were made out of court, it's not going to be considered hearsay, okay? It's going to be admissible as um, a statement of a party opponent, and those are admissible. You don't need no hearsay exception um, to get his statements in. So if his defense team make some kind of argument with regards to that those pieces of evidence, honey, listen, they can come in as a statement of a party opponent, which it means it would not be considered hearsay, and it doesn't need a hearsay exception. I think this motherfucker, I don't know what he was thinking. I hope he got a whole bunch of money. And it reminds me, it cracked me up. I don't know who said it, but they were talking about Dame Dash and Jay Z. I think it was Memphis Bleak. He said, "Look here, um, as far as can he get Dame, to meet like Jay Z after a concert or something, right?" And at one point he said, "I thought I could." He said, but Dame done took his ass over there and making all those art of dialogue. Um, uh, interviews, and I just fell out because that's what Keith D be going over there too. Memphis Bleak said, I think that's his name. He said, no, he done sat his ass up there and made all them art dialogue, goddamn interviews. He said, he said he is 100% sure that Jay Z would never fuck with him again. He said, one point in time he was gonna, wait for the perfect time to maybe to fill Jay out and see if he can walk Dame on back there after a concert or something. That well said, hell no, you done took your ass on that art of dialogue and shit. And I just thought about Keith D. Keith D done sat there and said all that shit on that art of dialogue, man. Look him. You done implicated Puffy and every goddamn body. Child, those people there, baby. Now all the dialogue with some of them other Cam was a Cam Capone news. Also, all of some of them little plays and little those people, baby, they are racking up. Your ass is on the damn rack. And then let me ask you this question. Why is the big homie CC and it's just coming up? I don't click on it. What is he talking about? Dude, what you got to say? I ain't believe shit you said then, and I'm not gonna believe shit you say now. I don't believe Gene Deal, and I had high hopes of Gene Deal. But when he started sounding like he was putting his own opinions to shit, mm-mm. Acting like you know about it, I don't believe your bitch ass. So, yeah, I went all around the goddamn world and back. But yeah, this motherfucker I need to mind your goddamn business. Shit. Hell, I'm on your ass, honey. Like a motherfucking goddamn dog when the mailman comes. I got time. Top motherfucker playing with top. God damn it. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. Oh, I wish I had my other computer so I could just go right in there and just pull up that R. Kelly document. I'm on another computer, and that document isn't there. I want to pull up. Hold on. See, I don't want to get back into this crazy shit. Let me go to Facebook real quick. Uh, yeah, I tell you, no damn hole. I mean, y'all be, listen, I make it a habit to like 90% of shit I say or whatever prove you motherfuckers wrong. Because as long as it doesn't uh, put out some shit that I that I don't want no type of uh, inquiry about. That's why, I post my, here go the receipt, here go the receipt. These people just be saying shit. I don't know a goddamn thing about the goddamn law until I motherfucking sit there and tell me. I am a fake lawyer. What? And why the hell you talking to me while you asking motherfucking questions and all that bullshit? Hey, what the fuck? Hey, are you okay? Oh, God, now I gotta change passwords. See, I ain't got time for this. Gosh. I ain't been in pace so bad long. But I told you, you really can't be saying a whole bunch of shit. You don't have the paperwork. That means you're gonna have to pop back out and probably correct yourself. Those who care about putting out accurate information. Oh man. Oh, password got to be long. Ay, 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 ay. Is it 14 karat? Lord have mercy. Y'all, give me a password. Jesus. Hold on, give me a second. I'm trying to get this damn paperwork up. All this is go read what the prosecutors say. Answer this court no a month ago. I'm like, it's telling me that the damn password is the same. Oh, yeah, this is aggravating. I'm telling you, this is real fucking annoying. Uh, This crazy. I'm gonna put in his goddamn password that he uses so I can goddamn remember. It's crazy. Okay, it has been updated. And I owe $0. Okay, now let's go. I don't really want to do this. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, I said, falling in love. That's not easy. Baby, they said it would not last in the end. Love without you, without you. Ooh, 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 ooh. Love without you, without I never do. Never, never do. Uh, never, never do. Hey, love will never do without you. They said it wouldn't last long. Ooh, 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 ooh. Was it? Ooh. Okay. Damn, ain't nothing happened on this case since a month. Love will never do without. Okay. Uh, Maybe we was getting bills, $400 and $500 for this goddamn case, and all because we was too lazy to damn just save it, and we kept going into it because it's independent. Um, okay, unopposed motion to continue Deshaun Markdosis sentence. What is it? Hold on. Okay. Because it cannot identify with specific documents the government covertly obtained through Mr. Moodle shit, or what specific information was conveyed. The argument goes the court should look no further at the constitutional violation, okay, that occurred in the prosecution of our. Oh, I'm gonna get this on if it let me. Look at the call the man Mondo. Shit, that man ain't on. Okay. Okay, so he is raising attorney-client communications. Um, listen, he did do what I said. Okay, okay, folks. Remember, when I said, listen, we cannot determine if um if the if he's been unlawfully detained or not because you robbed me of that option when all these goddamn constitutional violations occurred. So the only way we'll know if you give him a new trial. So see, right? So right here, He says, because Kelly cannot identify which specific documents the government covertly obtained through Mr. Mogdo or what specific information was conveyed, the argument goes, the court should look no further at the constitutional violations that occurred in the prosecution of Mr. Kelly. So it's saying what I said. Hell, we don't know if the information that the prosecutors allegedly received from Mr. Mudu was attorney-client communication, shit, work product. We don't know. And don't, we can't guess and see what would have happened if, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying? If, we don't know. Again, we don't know. So it doesn't matter what it pertains to. If it's determining whether or not it's attorney-client communications, this is what Bo is saying. We don't know if it was attorney-client. So the only way we can, the only thing that would be fair is for you to do what? Give us a new trial. If or my other, or the other thing I said, the point is, you just driving home, we don't know, and you stole our opportunity to find out. No matter if it was evidence that was precluded and shouldn't have been, that would be on the judge, but with the prosecutor, let's say with this Mondu shit, you remember the opportunity to know. So that's what I'm saying. You're trying to make the justices, or in this case, that what is back to the trial, and it's back to the trial court, that whatever it is, and what we allege happened, we don't know, and we wouldn't be able to know but for these issues occurring, like Mondu and Larry and the Aryan Nation and somebody trying to kill them and all this extra shit, whatever it is they writing down. Because the judge didn't allow the evidence in, we don't know how the jury would have treated that evidence. You know what I'm saying? So you're just trying to tell the judges, like, hey, there's no way to know unless we do it again. The problem with the government's argument is that it alone has access to this information. The government's argument that it alone has access to this information, not Mr. Kelly. The government argues that Mr. Modu's sworn declaration indicates that he stole legal documents from Mr. Kelly and provided them to the government. Mr. Modu indicated that he communicated directly with the prosecutor. Oh, shit. The government has offered no sworn statement denying that fact, but submits to the court that there is nothing to see here because documents and information that were stolen by Mr. Mudu are provided to the government are not specifically identified. Wait a minute now. Nothing to see here because documents and information that were stolen by Mr. Mugo and provided to the government are not specifically identified. But as they say they got something, Mr. Mugo. Hold on, wait a minute. Let me see this again. Hold on. Wait a minute. The government ignores the fact that Mr. Mudu was stealing these documents as part of his cooperation with the government. Are they saying, wait a minute now, are they saying that the government saying, I got to go through that. Hold on. Another problem, another problem that arises for the government is that English is not Mr. Mudu's native language. Indeed, stop. And, and his sentencing has been delayed for years in part to the need to translate filings into the Tuvalu language. Okay. Okay. Lunson is more for the government arguments about identifying the government's use of information presumes that Mr. Keller divined information that is known only to the government. Come on, there is an evidentiary hearing is necessary. Okay, so remember I told you the judge can schedule oral arguments, but evidence wouldn't be a topic. It would be arguing, basically the law. With they're asking for evidentiary hearing to do what? See if the evidence, you know, um, see if they have the evidence to back up what they're saying. Hold on, let me hold on. I got to see it. Damn. That girl did tell me to go see what that goddamn uh prosecutor said. Hold on, y'all. Wait a minute now. I mean, what did the government say about the information? Did Mondu send the government some information? Mm-mm. Defendant supplemental brief. I don't want that. Hey, y'all, let me tell you something funny. Honey, I'm eating a sandwich now that I had made earlier, right? Listen, when I was on them goddamn steroids and my goddamn big ass didn't want to keep going up and down those stairs, let me tell you, I would fix sandwiches and shit. I mean, a bunch of sandwiches. Baby, I would fix a bunch of goddamn sandwiches. Oh my gosh. And then it was so crazy, right? And this is when my daughter's playing travel ball as well. So one particular time, I let some of her team stay, in the room that I had gotten. Right, y'all. I had a motherfucker brought them that big bag of sandwiches to that goddamn nightstand, honey, and sat there and ate all of the. Baby, them damn steroids, they ain't no joke. They will have you eating out. What? Child. Okay. Depends on a new trial should be summarily denied without an evidentiary hearing. Ooh, they don't want an evidentiary hearing. What? Wait a minute. I know y'all ain't gonna tell me, Mr. Uh, 99 done stole that man goddamn communications for real though. I thought this was both kind of whipping a pencil. Try, let me see. The defendant has not and cannot support his claim that the government committed a structural error by intruding into his relationship with his attorney. The defendant has failed to meet his burden of establishing both government intrusion and actual prejudice, as is required to establish a Sixth Amendment violation. So remember I told you earlier that that must be swaying for a Sixth Amendment violation. Okay. His latest request for evidentiary hearing to determine whether the government obtained information relating to trial preparation or strategy. So y'all know trial preparation or strategy, they are speaking of work product. Okay, remember I told you that. So again, they don't. I ain't trying to be funny, but they not writing this for y'all. And this is just another example of the judge can say something is, precluded. We know what she's talking about, and especially when she done answered it on a motion and limit. We know what she means. You're gonna have to shut down that that type of that that particular defense will not be allowed. So therefore, all the evidence that's connected to that particular defense that I deny is precluded. Damn. Okay. And again, all that Dolphin Hotel, that shit ain't even on the indictment. So how the text messages gonna where's gonna show up in the post conviction relief, even when it comes to habeas. You think habeas you can come there and just say anything? No. It don't matter if it's on and off the record. Still got to have a legal argument. Still got to have something to do with the facts in the case or the elements. Well, ain't nothing about no damn hotel, no data, none of motherfucking people are on the goddamn indictment. That's what I'm just trying to tell you, motherfucking ass. Damn. Okay. After defendant blatantly asserted that his allegations of government intrusion into his attorney-client communication constituted structural error, the government ordered the parties to provide case citations relevant to any structural argument made by the defendant. Defendant's submission failed to do that. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Government intrusion into court order the parties to provide a sentence relevant to any structure in the law. So I don't want to put no more. So are they saying that they asked the defendant, which means of course is lawyer, so if I say defendant, I'm just speaking, correctly when it comes to legally. So they're they're saying that case that's relevant. Are they saying it should have been a previous argument that R. Kelly and May is it okay? For the reason set forth in the government supplemental filing, the defendant has waived this argument. Hold on now, pull nothing else. Damn, I got pulled 545. Shit, clearly the defendant provides no case support for its claim that the use of a jailhouse informant to obtain attorney-client communications discussing trial preparations or strategy satisfies the criteria for a structural error. The defendant concedes the Supreme Court in Weatherford versus Bercy required a showing of actual prejudice to establish that the government's interference with the defendant's attorney-client relationship violated the Sixth Amendment. He goes on, however, to suggest that the conduct he alleges here, purposeful governmental intrusion into the attorney-client relationship, may be considered structural error, requiring no show of prejudice on the ground that prejudice flowing from such conduct would be difficult to identify or quantify. Pretty much going back to what I said, we're telling you, you fucked up our opportunity to prove any of this. And the only way to make us whole is to what? Overturn this conviction. Hold on. I got so much shit going on. No, hold on. I got to scratch my goddamn back. Oh, damn back scratch. Okay. His argument is flawed because he has offered no evidence to support his claims, and the cases he cites to support his argument do not address the issue of structural error or involve distinguishable acts. So the government is saying you ain't providing no proof, and your case law is wrong. Bo is even going further than I will. Bo is saying there, don't even ask the question with regards to how the case would have turned out. Okay? Don't even ask that question. When it says requiring no show of prejudice. So he went further than what I did. Okay, well, to begin the defendant's argument rests on the wholly unsupported assertion that prosecutors here intruded on his attorney-client relationship by purposely obtaining communications between defendant and his lawyer related to trial preparation strategy. Again, that's work product. Indeed, defendant has offered no evidence indicating that prosecutors received any attorney-client communication of his, much less that those communications related to trial strategy that could be and was used to the government's advantage and the defendant's at the defendant's detriment at trial. To the contrary, defendant expressly requested that the court grant him a hearing to allow him to find out whether any of his claimed facts occurred. Defendant has failed to meet his burden to provide any evidence to support these allegations. So why are you ducking the evidentiary hearing there? The case of the defendant cites to establish that his claims involve structural error do not address that issue or are otherwise distinguishable and misconstrued by the defendant. Meaning again, they use the wrong case law. For example, let me to the contrary, the defendant expressly requested that the court grant him a hearing to allow him to find out whether any of his claimed facts occurred. The defendant has failed to meet his burden to provide any evidence to support those allegations. The cases defendant that do not address that issue. All right, they're saying that case law it shouldn't have been cited here to suggest that disclosure of defense strategy requires reversal and an evidentiary hearing to determine what information was given to the prosecution. This is not accurate. So the case law that they used, the prosecutor, they're saying that the defense didn't accurately apply that case law because it's not addressing whatever the issues are, right? When the issues are whether or not he should receive an evidentiary hearing and receive a reversal of his conviction. This is code for this count was convicted of engaging in a fraud scheme. Okay. This motivated. This motion. In his motion, the defendant identified specific evidence to support his allegations, namely court testimony by both camp and government agents in other cases which indicate camp status. Camp. That's the case law. Unlike here, the defendant and Diston provided actual evidence in support of its motion, sufficient to label Camp a government informer, and set forth specific evidence that recordings between Camp and his trial attorney was provided to the government. In contrast, here the defendant failed to provide more than speculative, unsupported claims that Mr. Muju was even a government informant. Okay, so remember I told y'all that, and Tasha K is what comes to mind. Remember I told you that I don't know if it was on something that was filed over here or one of her personal cases that we were talking about, but they tried to, the defense tried to make Tasha K a an employee or a worker or someone doing acts for the government, okay, which would make her be like an employee of the government. So whatever they allege she did it while being an employee of the government, and that is why it should be considered a prosecutorial misconduct, fall upon the prosecutorial misconduct. Okay, so so several there'll be, like I told you, there'll be several cases that you'll come across where you know that this individual is a is a uh, is a YouTuber, and you know she doesn't physically work for the damn government. Okay, but there is case law that says that, you know, if a person does this, you know, and these where the three B's come in, right? Benefit, behest, right? Then they should be considered an employee. Okay, they could be considered an employee because what they've done is made themselves an associate or a, a person that's, I mean, like that's, you know, I don't know how else to put it. Because I know it sounds strange, but like when that you'll see a bunch of, especially with civil suits, you'll see a bunch of um, people who does not work for that particular company. However, the actions that that person took, it could have been at the direction of that company, um, or it could have been as an assistant to that company. So therefore, they're asking the judge to consider that person as an employee because their duties or whatever they've done um, can qualify them as an employee. So right here they're saying Madugi was even a government informant, meaning he's doing work for the government. Second, this is specifically requested the recordings pretrial, which the Seventh Circuit noted changed the standard of material materiality for government's non-disclosure. Importantly, the Seventh Circuit remand for an evidentiary hearing was limited to the purpose of determining whether the withheld material was material to distance guilt or punishment, or whether it was withheld in bad faith. Defendant reliance on whatever case law, pacification, conviction, the government intercepted attorney-client communications. But now, this is one motion where I am stopping briefly to look at the case law because why? I ain't just call a case law. Why am I doing that? Because the prosecutors are saying that the case laws that are cited were improperly applied. So that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm taking a minute to glance over the case law. Okay, so if the attorney conference to the conversation issue, the intruder did not deny defendant the effective assistance of counsel at his criminal trial, and therefore the defendant was not prejudiced. In some contrary to defendant's contention, the Supreme Court and the Seventh Circuit precedent hold that to establish a constitutional error warranting reversal, a defendant must show actual prejudice from a disclosure of confidential information. For a Sixth Amendment claim. Here, the defendant has not shown that confidential information was actually disclosed, much less that he suffered prejudice as a result. The defendant also cited, but it too has no application to this case. So remember, I was asking the dummy over there, tell me how you apply case law. Since you say you apply case law, and since you're always hollering about you're going to go find a case law because you're stupid, because you don't know the fuck it is you're talking about. Everything. I'm going to find a case law. I'm going to find a case law. To do what? Okay. Don't even know how to even do none of that shit. Shut up. Okay, so the defendant also cites, but it too has no application to this case. In Levy, it was undisputed that federal agents knowingly sought and received information from a confidential informant who was represented by the same attorney as defendant. The Third Circuit found that defense strategy was actually disclosed, and the government enforcement officials sought such confidential information. By comparison, the defendant has offered no evidence showing that the government prosecutors received confidential information related to the defendant's trial strategy, much less that they sought it. Okay, so they're saying that, oh, child, honey, these trial lawyers, baby, they no wonder they got to goddamn get paid like they get paid. You got to be a goddamn fucking mental athlete times two to deal with all this bullshit. Okay, so the government is saying and leaning hard that the case law that they're using is improper, and they don't have any evidence that the prosecutors received any confidential information related to the defendant's trial strategy, much less that they sought it. Okay? And again, when you see in this particular situation, when they keep bringing up trial strategy, trial plans, trial whatever, they are talking about work product. And how do you know they're talking about work product? Well, that's what it is. Also, you see attorney-client privilege throughout the document. So it says, in a single line, defendant asserts for the first time that government intrusion in the attorney-client relationship has due process implications under the Fifth Amendment. This argument is waived. Why is it waived, honey? Okay. Okay, it says, okay, United States versus Berkowitz, holding that unsupported claims, including claims raising constitutional issues, are waived, must be by time to file and see. The Rule 33 movement bears the responsibility of developing his arguments and presenting the court with adequate grounds and authority to grant the relief requested. In any event, it is without merit because, as detailed below, defendant has failed to make any allegations that the government made use of any privileged documents at trial. Okay, there's no case law that says to establish a Fifth Amendment violation, there must first be a finding that the government procured or was otherwise complicit in a violation of the attorney-client privilege, and only then should the court assess whether the violation resulted in the introduction of evidence at trial sufficiently material and adverse to defendant to deny him his Fifth Amendment procedural rights. Defendant is not entitled to an evidentiary hearing to determine whether the government sought or received privileged communication information as he demands. This is plainly a fishing expedition. Vague, conclusory accusations are insufficient to warrant a hearing. Defendant must be present, specific detail, and non-conjectural facts that justify relief. There is no abuse of discretion in the refusal of an evidentiary hearing on the matter because defendant has identified no information about defendant that was passed to the government. Damn, gotta be all these damn cases. Oh, wait a minute. So the court should not defend request for evidentiary hearing. Now, why y'all ducking the evidentiary hearing though? I'm just looking at these footnotes real quick. Okay, defendant was on support, but his claim is Muju's vague six-pack. Okay, Muju put in a declaration. It does not state that the government directed Muju to steal correspondence, nor does it state that Muju provided correspondence to any prosecutor or that he had any direct knowledge that prosecutors ever received correspondence. He claims to have provided to a prison employee. In sum, there is no support for defendants' claims that Muju acted as a jailhouse informant for the government, or that any of the purportedly stolen communication, which could not have been used to influence Jane as a defendant alleged, contain any client communication related to trial preparation or strategy. So, so they are using. Oh, no. Okay, so are they saying? Are they talking about the? They're not talking about the stolen with the BOP officer stuff to influence Jane to testify. Are they saying that the letters or whatever he alleged that was taken was shown to Jane? What the hell? Ooh, I gotta let me go find another document. Sure, now, ooh, I'm gonna fight Carla. At me, I ain't been digging in this shit in so long. I'm looking crazy. Like what? What the hell? Hey, I could be watching some real good Netflix. But you know how we researchers are. Know how the information bandits are. Look, I gotta get down to the bottom of it. What the hell's happening? What happened? What happened? Okay, what's on this damn supplement? Let me put this up. This is cray cray, honey. Okay, let me see. Pursuant to court, government supplement big limited to the issue of whether, if true, the allegations made in defendant's motion for a new trial would establish structure error requiring automatic reversal. The answer is no. This court should summarily deny defendant's motion without an evidentiary hearing for the reasons discussed below and in the government's response to the defendant's motion. Okay. Why I keep ducking the damn evidentiary hearing? What is going on with this? Defendant asserts in his reply brief and orally during the hearing on April 22nd that one of his claims, the purported government intrusion into his attorney-client communication, falls within the limited class of constitutional errors the Supreme Court has concluded are structural errors and therefore are subject to automatic reversal. So, subject to automatic reversal, pretty much, you're not really asking the question. was the error that was made prejudicial or not. Uh, this claim lacks merit. The Supreme Court had repeatedly made clear that a constitutional error does not automatically require reversal of a conviction. Specifically relevant here, a 60-minute valid. Hold on, wait a minute. Let's check something out. Hold on. What did it say? Oh, let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. Context matter. The court has ruled that if such error is not raised on the left appeal, but instead raised is a collateral tax is accountable for the defendant must show the error caused that. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, so this wasn't raised during the trial. All right. So therefore, he kind of waived his right for a automatic reverse. Okay, so the Supreme has repeatedly made clear that a constitutional error does not automatically require reversal of conviction. Okay, specifically relevant here, a 60-minute violation of the right to confidential attorney-client communication requires the defendant to show trial prejudice resulting from the government's intrusion into the attorney-client relationship, even when the intrusion was purposeful and done without any law enforcement justification. Okay. All right, let's see. And with this case law, it says any proof of government intrusion or actual prejudice, defendant's Sixth Amendment right was not violated, and and there is no abuse of discretion in the refusal of an evidentiary hearing on the matter. Okay, so right, right here, they're battling back and forth about a lot of shit, right? Not only are they battling back and forth with regards to the motion, can you substantiate your claims with evidence or whatever? But they're also striking hard at um, the fact that they are misapplying case laws and they are raising what type of error occurred It's a lot going on with this shit here. I mean, I got to read the damn case law. Jesus Lord. Okay. 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 There's no abuse of discretion. Okay, so there's no abuse of discretion. Means the judge, um, there's no error to place on the judge, so you don't have to worry about that per what they're saying. So not that's it said a unsworn affidavit that identified no information about defendant was passed to the government cannot show prejudice and does not require a hearing or dismissal of the charge. So I guess that case law that they're using, they're trying to substantiate that based on the defendant's issues, that they're trying to argue, objections, the same thing, that it does not require an automatic reversal. Okay, so that's why they try to put it as a structural error. Okay? Because the Supreme Court has consistently required evidence of substantial prejudice against the defendant before the government interference with the attorney-client relationship violates the Sixth Amendment. Once constitutional infringement has been identified, there must be some threat of an adverse effect upon the effectiveness of counsel representation or some other prejudice to the defense to have a remediable Sixth Amendment claim, rejecting that the contention that whenever conversations with counsel are overheard. Okay, so they are also saying interference. Identify there must be some threat of an adverse effect upon the effectiveness of counsel's reputation or some other prejudice to the defense to have this claim on rejecting or critiquing that. Whenever conversations are overheard, regarding the new trial must be the constitutionality of the conviction depends on whether the overheard conversations have produced directly or indirectly in the evidence offered at trial. So the defendant bears the burden of demonstrating both government's knowing intrusion into the attorney-client relationship and actual prejudice incurred by the government's intrusion. What was that? Shit. Hold on. They took a attorney-client relationship and actual prejudice occurred by the government intrusion. It occurred. I don't think. Oh Lord, honey, this is okay. All right. They are asking the defense. Oh Lord, all these goddamn case laws. Okay, they're asking the defense, or pretty much telling the judge that y'all have y'all haven't proven that we instructed Mondu to take no down those letters, government information. Also, you can identify if it's a attorney-client information or work product. And and you also haven't proved that whatever Monday stole, the prosecution was able to use it in court. On top of that, you're misapplying the case law. And this is what the prosecution is saying thus far. Ooh, Lord. Uh-uh. Hold on, okay. The defendant bears the burden of demonstrating both the government's knowing intrusion into the attorney-client relationship and actual prejudice incurred by the government's intrusion. Yeah, and also, what's it? Also, you haven't proven that it affected your client negatively, right? It prejudiced your client in any way. God dang. Defendant must show prejudice, which accrues only if the intercepted communication are somehow used against the defendant in connection with the underlying proceeding. Y'all got all that? Okay. So it's saying that, you got to also prove that the communications were used to give the prosecutor the unfair advantage. Got to prove that it prejudiced your case. It's God damn. Like what the fuck, bro? Like, oh my god. Depending on your prejudice. No wonder that girl goddamn question. It was like it was a paragraph of shit. I could gave like 15 answers to it. God damn, no wonder. Oh shit. What the fuck? Come on now. Whoa. Oh Lord. Y'all see me read these case laws, y'all know, no, that baby. And also another reason with regards to me want to read the case law because they're also saying they were incorrectly applied, and simultaneously, guess what? And the prosecutors, they are citing case law to state to support what they're claiming it. They're claiming. So this year, y'all understand what I'm talking about? They're saying that um, the defense didn't apply their case law correctly, and it's the same open document, which isn't uncommon, but it's a lot in the same document. The prosecutors are goddamn applying case law. So I don't have any choice. I got to read all of it, pretty much. Hey, okay. So rejecting presumption of prejudice and holding the defendant had burden of proving prejudice to dismiss an indictment based on the prosecutor's use of privileged material. Purposeful intrusion alone is not a Sixth Amendment violation because it's defendant's burden to establish demonstrable prejudice. Right. Yeah, remember y'all. Now, I told you about, about the burden. Sometimes how the burden can uh, shift to the defense, depending on what type of defenses they use, right? If it's an affirmative defense, then the burden of proof uh, shifts to the defense. And I also put that little clip up there of that black attorney saying the same thing with regards to the boy who stabbed the white boy under the tent, that case. So, okay. Now this is something I've always told y'all, but of course when I catch another attorney saying pretty much the same thing, I'm gonna add it on in here. Okay. And so because of this opinion's burden to establish demonstrable prejudice, even assuming the government's knowing intrusion defendants speculation, which has no support in the record, is insufficient to establish demonstrable prejudice or the substantial threat thereof to warrant a new trial. The defendant has failed to meet his burden of establishing either government intrusion or actual prejudice and thus has not succeeded even in alleging structural error. In his brief, the defendant alleges that James' trial testimony was influenced by purportedly privileged information stolen from the defendant's jail cell and passed on to prosecutors. The defendant's only evidentiary submission supporting his allegations of a vague six-paragraph declaration by Madu that does not support these claims. And as detailed in the government's response, that claim is factually impossible because Jane was already cooperating with the government and indeed had testified before the grand jury months before the defendant was even taken in. Ooh, okay. So I probably don't have to read nothing else. So this probably will come back tonight. So the prosecutor in the middle of this motherfucker just hit us with a timeline. Remember I told you timeline? Well, the people I be helping in the background. Timelines of what? Very important. Just we pretty much live and die by 'em. So I don't know if I should continue to go on, but um, here's the thing, right? If what you're claiming had no effects inside the courtroom, then we're not even dealing with prejudice. Okay? Because here, see what it says here? It says that, okay, so I don't know if Bo is saying that Jane was influenced by whatever Mr. Muju stole and gave to the prosecutors to have an unfair advantage in this trial, right? They are saying that one, you have to prove that we used that stolen information to influence Jane, right? Well, they came back and said, motherfucker, that claim is factually impossible because Jane was already cooperating with the government and indeed had testified before the grand jury months before the defendant was even taken into custody at the MCC. Beyond this disproven claim, defendant fails to identify any specific trial strategy to which the government purportedly gained access, nor does he identify any use made by the government of privileged material at trial, either as evidence or in trial strategy. Instead, defendant requests an evidentiary hearing in order to find out what occurred with regards to Mr. Kelly's privileged communications. But vague conclusory allegations are insufficient to warrant an evidentiary hearing. Okay, okay. So, check this out right now. Check this out right now. Hey, okay. The government is pretty much saying, um, hold on, that the defense is trying to call for an evidentiary hearing in order to find out what occurred with regard to R. Kelly's privileged communication. And they're saying asking for evidentiary trial for that reason is insufficient. They got a case law with regards to that. The defendant must present definite, specific detail and non-conjectural facts that justify relief. So you got to prove this. Now, testimony is evidence. So Mr. Mulu statement, you know, pretty much would be admissible. And Mr. Mulu would probably be available to take a stand if need be, if an evidentiary hearing occurred, right? But the government is arguing like damn near every point. They saying that you can't call an evidentiary hearing just to see what occurred with Mr. Kelly's privileged communication. That's not enough. It doesn't get you there. You have to have some sort of proof and, and it has to be. So now I don't forget what Mr. Molu wrote in his statement, right? Because remember, like if it's coming from in a first person position, then it's pretty much direct evidence. So I guess the government is saying whatever he said was like it's like vague. It had no specifics. Okay, because there is no reason to suppose that a hearing would produce evidence justifying the grant of a new trial, there is no reason to hold a hearing. So, okay, so do y'all know if Bo have something else other than Mr. Muku um, um, statement? Cause I mean, now I'm gonna tell you like what the attorney had on what I just got them read. I'm gonna beat you up, Carl. Oh Lord, have mercy, Jesus. Um, whoever that vote is going against the prosecution office, who wrote all this shit up. Look here, come on, Bo, Bo, bro. Brother, I'm trying to do how the men be doing this little new thing, right? I don't know if it sounds like the Mexicans or whatever, but Cam does it real well. Brother, no, my son, I can't do a shit. Hell, and I think it's cute though. Listen, listen, Bo. Oh my God, they are attacking your foundation, sir. They're attacking your case law. hmm They say you're misapplied, and then they're also presenting the procedures when it comes to a structural error and what constitutes as one. And of course, he wanted to go for a structural error because it usually means that it's a automatic reversal of the conviction. However, there are few things that's exception is an exception to that rule. Well, they saying that you don't have Mr. What man named Mr. Mulu said that whatever he said it lacks specifics, and also they got to you got to also prove that whatever was taken was attorney client and work product, and that they used that advantage in court. But that's not even goddamn relevant because if you said, Bo, that Jane was impacted by whatever Mr. Moju stole, they saying that motherfucking girl had already decided to cooperate with them. So, um, Bo's, what I want to call his claim, it's not even even possible. That's what they're saying. Maybe he should have left the part out about influencing the girl. Maybe he should leave those again, I ain't seen this shit and I don't know when, so I could have saw it and don't remember. But what I'm saying is um because I mean if a motherfucker decide to take a stand against you because the prosecutors or whoever on the investigation team showed you some videos of your man with another woman or all of that, as long as that was because they don't even necessarily have to be in evidence. I mean, it's just be like, look at this. But as long as it wasn't stolen or a part of some kind of bribery or what have you, that's not going to be you're not going to be able to get that to prosecutorial misconduct. And what I've been seeing that has been something steady throughout his post conviction relief journey is that they will raise and argue a lot of things that that is going to require um, I, it's going to require another piece of no, I'm being very stingy. No, it's going to require a whole goddamn um a whole trunk of evidence to support what you're saying. You Bo is trying to go with um, the part about I think it's in the structure area realm that hey, they don't have to prove that their client was prejudiced. The prosecutor is saying that the case law and yet your understanding of structural error, the case law was applied wrong, and maybe you don't understand, structural error. Yeah, most normally it is an automatic reversal of conviction, but there are some exceptions. And the case law you used was misapplied. So I've noticed, you know, since he's been in this phase, the post conviction phase, that his attorneys is not applying the case law as it should. Let's see, let me give you an example. All right, you turn this brief in, and you have case law that doesn't share any common interest with what is at issue, i.e., you misapplied case law. Okay, the judge is going to go check that, and I don't know if you're saying, okay, well, can you make an independent judgment questioning this goddamn case law and seeing how it does support the issues that we're raising. This is really goddamn deep. What the fuck, man? Brother, what the hell? I mean, you doing the damn thing, but goddamn, like, oh my, let me ask, I got a question. That motherfucker got me with a question. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. Oh, yeah. How is he gonna do all of this? They all try to like like you if you know the rules, but then you see something that clearly should fall upon the judicial discretion when you know at the appellate level, you claim that it should be looked at as a no vote. Then here we go. Now we got a whole next violence. We got a whole bunch of goddamn case laws to fight back and forth with. Now, what? Okay, so they shouldn't have a problem with keeping whatever Mr. Moody Juice said on the record, maybe the battle at a later date, because I'm going to assume that they did not know anything about the stolen communications during his hearing. So this if this is case, just say if whatever I don't know um the okay I know the Aryan Nation shit would be considered new evidence. I don't know about the Larry shit. What he said about what Larry about? Larry went over there to yeah I think it with the Larry situation because I yeah that's like he flying all around the goddamn California and shit. I think that's new claim and Mr. Muji. So that's three new claims. Hmm. That was discovered after the trials. So it can be it can be a part of the run. Oh, child. Mm-mm. Child. Listen. This probably why that goddamn judge takes so long to respond. Shit, that judge. Hey, hey, we're gonna look up. I'm gonna look in the face. That mother judge gonna say, "Shit, I'm recusing myself. I need several drinks. I need to go over there to drunk champs when they come on." What the hell? No shit, that mother judge. Man, got time for all of this. Yeah, so um because these are new claims that happen outside of the trial, so they can, show up at the appellate level or supreme or whatever, so it can go up the ladder. But damn, my motherfucking head hurt. Bo, okay, Bo, okay, all right. I don't know. Yeah, so I think based on the prosecution's timeline, that this judge is probably going to deny it. And because you can clearly see that Bo is racking up all the constitutional violations that he can find, this probably won't come up again. Dang. So, um, has he? No, this wasn't denied yet. So I mean, so let's see if the judge, what the judge, what the judge does. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he could ask for evidentiary hearing, and the prosecutor can just lay out pretty much what they what they've already stated. And when you say that the girl, and I hope Bowen put in there that the girl was influenced by Mr. Modi's stolen stuff, because they may call her or try to get a statement from her or something. So here we go again. Now, which Jane are they talking about? They talking about Jane in New York or Jane in Illinois? Child, we count. Okay, Bo. I you know uh, I ain't got too much to say. To be honest, my damn head hurt. When have y'all ever heard me read case law? But I had to. You figure out what they the prosecution is raising a bunch of issues with regards to Bowles filing. So Carol supporters got a 50-50 shot. You don't have to be patient because maybe it is nothing happens at this on this round. But I told you that, if you can get like multiple violations and stuff like that, making a claim. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Now he is raising these issues or these objections with the trial court, right? So I expect if the trial court denies that they're going to have, they should, just to protect um, the 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 procedure, just to protect the the jury's decision and all of that. I would think that they will respond with, a detailed explanation. Don't respond like that judge in Illinois that died, the first judge. Just a one-liner. And no. Because if he brings it up again, then that court will be able to review why you declined to reverse his conviction. Something, like when Judge Donnelly, when she ruled on J. Bowles 2933, she was real, she was very, very detailed. But I don't know, people. Anyway, that's all I got. I ain't really had that damn much. I'm gonna beat y'all ass. I ain't really had that damn much for you, but yeah, that's a lot. But like I said, the only thing that boy said that was right up until I cut it off is that you can't put unsupported shit on our party. You can't be telling lies and all of that. So, oh no, child. What is there something going on with the party with this? Let me go find out the information. Shit. All right, y'all. Hey, make sure you do something good for yourself and someone else. Make the good day to America better again. And maybe we'll tackle something else soon. Peace.